the spirits that dwelt in the Aegean Sea and attracted Odysseus into a vortex of a whirlpool and pulled him under.
Almost got him to crash against the rocks.
Yes,
Sirens,
yeah. But there's a good aspect to sound, and that is the power of the sacred word, the Om, which can be sounded as an attractive medium, Alice Bailey said. In a deeply spiritual sense, it can draw spiritual force, spiritual energy more correctly, into one's consciousness through the proper sounding of the Om. It can also repulse the other aspect of that law, that which is of low-grade substance.
Right, and even in the Bible, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and God sounded the Word, and the universe came into being. So, I mean, it all began pretty far back, if you want to look at it that way. And the Word is a sound, and it's a definite sound, not a sound that we can hear with our very limited range of hearing, but God does speak through sound on His own level of beingness. And it is sound, it is sound that continues throughout throughout His creation.
I think we understand the power of sound to attract certain quality into one's consciousness when we think about certain types of music that are very discordant and very disquieting and upsetting and jarring and possibly low grade in their effect on us. I think a lot more attention should be given to what our young children are listening to in their iPods. But there we go off on another tangent. Music can uplift, and that again is an expression of the law of attraction. It attracts a higher spiritual component into one's consciousness.
You're right, and I think that there was another idea about the law of attraction that you mentioned earlier before the break, about how it applies to death.
Yes, we didn't say much about it.
No, because it's rather interesting. Another way of looking at the law of attraction as it applies and affects the process of death.
And again, it works in a sense with sound. We're told that the soul at the moment of death, as it prepares to relinquish the form which no longer serves its purposes, sounds a note or a tone that begins the opposite of attraction, that begins the disintegration of the form, which results in the death of the body. This is part of the law, spiritual law, that the soul of its own choice decides the moment of death and shatters the form in which it has dwelt.
Right, and it's the law of attraction because the soul, through the process of restitution, the soul draws back and attracts back to itself the soul aspect that was in the physical body, that being that is you in your physical body. At the time of death, you will be drawn back to the soul as the source.
I find that so much more inspiring and so much more uplifting to view death that way, the death of a human being or an animal or whatever, that entity has been attracted back to its source. It has returned to its source. We tend to think of the person or the whatever has died as gone, just gone, no more. But when we think that they have been returned to their source, drawn back by the soul, that to me encourages a realization that their life goes on, but the form is gone. So
it's a feeling as though we're going home again, which is a much more comforting thought.
Yes, and it's not the end at all. I remember years ago hearing about a very old lady who was over 100, who was interviewed, and her daughter, about 75, had just died literally the day before. And this very old lady said that she realized she had to give back the daughter that she had welcomed with such love 75 years before. Now she had to return her to her source. That's how we should view death. The attraction of the soul causes them to return.
Right, and it's at the moment of death now, and we're speaking of the natural process of death when it occurs, not with accidents or murder or whatever, but in the natural course of dying, the soul makes its sound, and it is at the close of the life cycle, and with the full intention, it exerts its attractive power in such a way that it offsets the attractive power that is inherent in matter itself. So you have the law of attraction working against the law of attraction of the soul working against the law of attraction in the physical material nature. So that there is kind of the battle there between the two, but eventually the soul does succeed and cuts the cord. And
another aspect that we should probably touch on in this discussion of the law of attraction is the kind of fatalistic view that I sometimes hear, that people feel there's nothing much they can do to protect themselves or guard themselves from harm. I think there's a strong sense of the evil of the world these days. But there's never enough said about the power of goodwill, which can attract more goodwill to you. In other words, if we want to make a better world, the law of attraction works through the power of goodwill to create more goodwill. We begin by bringing our own forces to bear upon the world we hope to create, bringing more goodwill into our own relationships, and we will see that that takes on a kind of accumulative and magnetic power.
Right, and that's of course just the law of like attracts like, because the quality of goodwill will attract more goodwill, and that's why it's so necessary to build the right relationships that are necessary in the world today.
In essence, I think the law is that instead of criticizing what you don't like, bemoaning what you find negative, put your energy into what you do believe is positive.
Please take advantage of the special offer from Lucis Publishing Company, and that's the complete collection of Alice Bailey esoteric philosophy books. They're on sale now for a 10% discount. We've done that because this particular theme on the law of attraction, it can be found in several of her books, and some books have greater depth about the theme than others. Give us a call at 1-866-695-8247. That's 1-866-695-8247 if you'd like further information about this wonderful Alice Bailey book sale. You've been listening to Inner Sight. Now we would like to close with a world prayer called The Great Invocation. It's a call for light and love and goodwill to flow into the world and into our hearts. Let's listen for a moment to these powerful words.
From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into human minds. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into human hearts. May the coming one return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide all little human wills, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth.